Imagine a secret hidden from the world for years. A moment so startling that it makes you see everything you thought you knew about someone differently. For Kody Brown, father of the Sister Wives clan, TLC, has finally shared one of his most infamous and cringe-worthy moments. Fans have speculated on it for years, but now the cat's out of the bag. So, what happened? And why did the world have to wait so long to see it? Kody Brown has been the focal point of polygamy drama for more than a decade. With 4 wives, Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn, he has lived through the trials of family life under the unflinching eye of the cameras. Viewers have witnessed the highs, the lows, the court fights, and the intimate arguments that sometimes spill out into public debate. But just recently, a Sister Wives Tell-All special with Natalie Morales brought one moment back into the limelight, a moment that had been secret for years and left fans gasping. That revelation is about Kody's original sentiments toward Christine Brown, his 3rd wife. In an open interview, Kody shared something he had never made public before. He was not sexually attracted to Christine when they initially met. The admission in itself was unexpected, but what actually blindsided the viewers was the unorthodox reason he gave: nachos. It was on account of seeing Christine eat nachos, as per Kody, that he felt repulsed and delayed in wanting to commit to marrying her. Now, initially, it may seem rather hilarious, but if you read between the lines, this incident shows us a more complex, deeper picture of family life. This was a man, a husband, and a father, frankly acknowledging his true feelings in a manner that was raw, unedited, and emotional. It set the stage for the tension and the uncomfortable start of what would end up being a long-term union. For viewers who have watched the Brown family for years, this scene illuminated Kody's character in ways the first couple of seasons hadn't revealed. By televising this tell-all, TLC not only disclosed a long-held secret, but also gave fans a glimpse into the beginnings of the Brown family. It indicated to viewers that even individuals in high-profile, highly publicized relationships sometimes exhibit moments of hesitation, doubt, and imperfection. It reminded viewers that behind the cameras, the family's experiences are genuine and relatable regardless of how quirky they might be. Can you envision being in a room where your wife or spouse flat out says they weren't interested in someone you care about? The tension, the unease, it's difficult to imagine. That's what occurred on this tell-all though. And the Brown wives' reactions speak volumes about the complex dynamics involved. Witnessing the reactions on the tell-all, viewers were able to see the blend of feelings on the scene. Janelle, Kody's 2nd wife, smiled suggestively as if in relief, but possibly a complicated blend of emotion, in the knowledge she wasn't the target of the insult. Meri, however, was quick to come to Christine's defense, revealing loyalty and protective instincts. The moment, though awkward, revealed the sensitive and complex balance needed in such a household. Both wives had to sort through their emotions as well as keep up the unity in an extremely public environment. Christine's insight, as revealed later in her book Becoming Sister Wives, provided fans with an even greater sense of what this time meant emotionally. She explained that Kody's lack of initial attraction and his words about how she looked contributed to what she said in regards to her self-esteem. But even in hurt, Christine opted for positivity, growth, and the ultimate resilience of her relationship with Kody. Her introspection added a touch of humanity to the narrative with which the audience could relate, particularly those who have had their own experience of challenges and insecurities in relationships. These weren't just nacho jokes, they were the moment that defined a family. They revealed tension, vulnerability, and unadulterated honesty. And for years, TLC kept it under wraps. Now it's finally out, and it's revolutionizing the way we look at Kody Brown forever. The tell-all also drew criticism from fans questioning why TLC had not released this episode for all these years. Some thought the network was trying to shield Kody's reputation, others believed it was merely a timing issue, waiting for Christine's book to come out so they could set the story in context and add some emotional resonance. Whatever the motivation, this tell-all reminded people why Sister Wives has been a ratings hit for so long. It's not just about polygamy, it's about real people navigating real emotions, with all their complexities and imperfections laid bare. Kody's honesty, though painful, also showed an important reality. Honesty is never easy. Even when it's awkward or blunt, expressing real emotions is part of creating trust and understanding in a relationship. For fans, this was a reminder that growth usually happens from confronting the ugly realities, and that even a patriarch like Kody Brown must learn and change along the way. Early on, the Brown family suffered from a lot of tension from having to deal with Kody's truthfulness. But these kinds of moments, no matter how cringeworthy they are, set the stage for better communication and more intimate knowledge between the wives. The tell-all was as much an entertainment as it was an eye-opening case study in human psychology, relationships, and grit. At the end of the session, audience members know that this moment, once secreted, now laid bare, is more than just about a man's first impression of his wife. It's about family dynamics, truthfulness, emotional maturity, and the actual use challenges of creating a blended polygamous family. The Nacho moment, as now dubbed by fans, reminds viewers that all relationships have their bumpy starts, but it's how families learn and evolve that really defines them. Now imagine this: you're in a room with your husband, and someone publicly admits they weren't attracted to the man you love most. Awkward? Painful? Unreal? For the Brown family, it was not hypothetical, it was real life. And TLC filmed every moment of it. What transpired in that room would put loyalty, patience, and every wife's emotional fortitude to the test. The tension was palpable, and the truth was finally revealed. The tell-all episode didn't only share Kody Brown's shocking admission, it also recorded his wives' reactions live. And those reactions were interesting. Janelle, Kody's second wife, was next to him when he confessed he was first repulsed by Christine. On the surface, her reaction appeared to be a smile of relief, maybe because she wasn't the one being talked about. But to viewers who had watched the show for many years, it was obvious her response was not as simple as it looked. Meri, Kody's initial wife, jumped to Christine's defense straight away. She spoke on her co-wife's behalf and reminded viewers of the Brown family's values of loyalty. Meri was protective in her response, but also stressed the fine line that had to be maintained in a polygamous family. All three wives needed to process their individual emotions while staying united, particularly when intimate and possibly painful confessions were being shared on television. Christine herself, while listening quietly during the tell-all, explained later in her book Becoming Sister Wives just how much this moment impacted her. Learning that the man she would come to marry was repulsed by her looks at first created insecurities she held for some time. She explained how it affected her self-esteem, and even how she ate and how she felt about her body. For listeners, this was a very real reminder that words, particularly words from someone we love and cherish, have a tremendous impact. Can you imagine the combination of feelings in that room? Shock, tension, uncomfort, and yet, even with all the tension, the wives had to respond on the fly, trying to be honest without being callous. What you'll hear about their reactions will astonish you, and perhaps even motivate you. The reactions of the wives in that moment reveal a deeper truth about the Brown family dynamic. Janelle's subtle smile, Meri's protective stance, and Christine's quiet composure all highlight how relationships evolve under pressure. The situation was not just about Kody's words, it was about how his honesty exposed underlying emotions, insecurities, and even moments of unexpected empathy. Fans also picked up on the fact that Kody, although honest, managed to be somewhat blindsided to the emotional power of what he was saying. His bluntness was uncomfortable, but it also made all of them in the room feel like they had to deal with emotions that might have been building for months or even years. It was evident that in a polygamous family, where relationships blur and feelings are shared, honesty, no matter how painful, is inevitable. This wasn't a confession, it was a turning point. The Brown wives had to deal with hurt, loyalty, and complicated feelings simultaneously. And for viewers, it was a masterclass in human emotion, family ties, and staying strong under pressure. Beyond the emotional tension, the tell-all highlighted the ways in which each wife's personality shaped her response. Janelle's composure and subtle amusement suggested that she had developed coping mechanisms for these types of moments. Meri's protective instincts reminded viewers why she has always been considered the anchor of the family. And Christine's quiet strength foreshadowed the resilience she would demonstrate in the years to come. The tell-all also generated debate among viewers regarding the network's choice to air, or originally withhold, this episode. Most speculated that TLC might have initially kept this moment under wraps in order to shield Kody's public reputation. After all, a patriarch confessing that he was at first disgusted by a wife might be embarrassing or even harmful to his reputation. But now, with hindsight of years and the publication of Christine's book, the incident has a different role: context, exposition, and an opportunity for viewers to see the intricacy of the family relationship. In a sense, this moment made Kody more relatable. Though cringe-worthy, it reminded fans that everybody has awkward or imperfect relationship beginnings. Bluntness and honesty, though off-putting, is vital to establishing trust and understanding. The ability of the Brown family to work through this tension demonstrated that growth can happen, even in extremely unconventional or public situations. As the episode went on, the dynamic between the wives only got more intriguing. Their exchanges were quiet, but revealing. A look here, a soft correction there, or a soft word of affirmation told a complex story of an advanced knowledge of one another's feelings. These moments might have appeared small on television, but they spoke volumes to family peace. Christine's subsequent introspection gave another dimension to the narrative. She explained how these early vulnerabilities gave her a need to speak up, bond, and eventually fortify her union with Kody. By confronting hurt and reconciling with it, she had shown emotional toughness that could be admired and emulated by fans. At the same time, Kody's openness, while initially uncomfortable, contributed to calling out honesty and dialogue that would become the basis for the family. The tell-all also reminded viewers that relationships never unfold in a straight line. They are riddled with missteps, cringe-worthy moments, and surprises that push boundaries and test patience. For the Brown family, this specific confession was a powder keg, but it also served as a catalyst for greater understanding and expansion. At the close of Session 2, we are left with a deep insight. The strength of the Brown family lies not in perfection, but in surviving imperfection as a unit. Kody's worst moment created short-term tension, but ultimately served to demonstrate the emotional maturity, toughness, and devotion that make up this unconventional family. Imagine standing before the world, knowing someone you love dearly once felt repulsed by you. For Christine Brown, this was reality. The instant Kody Brown confessed he wasn't attracted to her at first devastated her, deflated her confidence, and pushed the very foundation of her relationship to the limits. But Christine's tale is not one of desperation. It's one of strength, resilience, and development that finally the world has been permitted to witness, courtesy of TLC. Let's go inside her head and see how she was able to take this challenging moment and turn it into a journey of love and self-awareness. Christine Brown has been one of the most outspoken members of the Sister Wives clan. From her time on the show, and particularly through her book Becoming Sister Wives, she has given us a raw glimpse into her experiences, feelings, and insights about life with Kody Brown. Although Kody's nacho moment may have looked funny or unexpected to spectators, to Christine, it was a very intimate experience that had lasting impacts on how she thought about herself. In her book, Christine outlines the emotional burden she bore upon discovering that Kody was initially repelled by her. It was a moment that would have dented anyone's confidence, but she deliberately worked through it carefully and constructively. She thought about how the fact that she heard this raw admission impacted her own sense of self, particularly in terms of her looks and place in the family. She openly discussed how she struggled with feelings of insecurity about her weight and if she were good enough to Kody. This scene also brought out the emotional depth of polygamist families. In a family where several wives live together, each relationship is interconnected with the others, so moments of tension are more complicated. Christine's reaction to Kody's confession showed emotional maturity and strength. She was able to admit her feelings of vulnerability and hurt, but still remain committed to the family and to her relationship with Kody. Consider this: being publicly exposed to something so personal, so raw, and yet having to tolerate the responses of everyone around you. That's precisely what Christine went through. And how she managed it demonstrates the extent of her strength and the lessons that even public families like us can learn. Christine's narrative also shows the balance she had to strike between personal feelings and family dynamic. While she struggled with Kody's blunt honesty, she also observed how the other wives responded. From Meri's immediate defense to Janelle's subtle amusement. These interactions reinforced the idea that in a blended family, emotional awareness and empathy are crucial. Christine had to process not only her own feelings but also the complex interplay of emotions among the other wives. For the aged 50 and older, Christine's experience is very realistic. It replicates life scenarios where honesty at times causes pain, but is required for development. Most individuals can relate to the fine balancing act of living with personal emotions while bearing in mind the effect on loved ones. Christine's experience shows emotional strength is not denial of pain, but facing it, learning from it, and utilizing it for better relationships. This isn't a tale of bruised feelings or uncomfortable confessions. It's a tale of the power of perspective, resilience, and emotional development. Christine's story proves it's possible to discover strength, self-worth, and ultimately love that lasts even in the most difficult situation. Christine also highlights in her book that Kody's initial aversion was not a reflection of her worth as an individual, but instead a natural aspect of their initial relationship dynamic. She clarifies how she learned to disconnect her self-worth from other people's instant opinion, something that speaks to audiences of all ages. Through the choice to concentrate on growth over blame, Christine made a potentially toxic experience into one of self-discovery. Her own thoughts also point up the need for communication. Following Kody's confession, Christine might have let resentment or insecurity set in. Rather, she engaged in open, honest dialogue with Kody, establishing trust and insight over time. This positive approach empowered their relationship and set an example for working through strong feelings in any family context. The tell-all, coupled with Christine's book, provides viewers with a candid look at the complicated realities of a polygamous family. While the on-screen drama tends to grab attention, it is Christine's own introspection and emotional strength that give the most valuable insights. Her capacity to reflect, forgive, and move on shows the sort of emotional intelligence that speaks volumes to older viewers, who might have had their own battles with honesty, trust, and communication in long-term relationships. Moreover, Christine's experience highlights the lasting effect of what may appear to be minor moments. One poorly chosen word regarding appearance or attractiveness can resonate for years, affecting behavior, self-image, and family relationships. By facing these issues head-on, Christine not only recovered personally, but assisted the entire Brown family in managing complicated emotions better. As the session nears its conclusion, audience members can notice a pattern develop. Challenging situations, if approached wisely, can be turned into opportunities for development. Christine's story is a testament to the strength of resilience, attitude, and capacity for taking awkward or painful situations and turning them into stepping stones toward more resilient, more intimate relationships. The episode also reminds us that honesty, as uncomfortable as it might be at times, is necessary for creating meaningful relationships. Kody's direct admission might have been harmful, but Christine's reaction, her patience, empathy, and emotional intelligence transformed it into a learning moment for all of them. It's apparent that Christine's point of view makes the story richer and human. She is an example of the strength to endure pain, the intelligence to gain from it, and the resilience to change, not only for herself but for the entire family. To audiences, her tale is inspirational, real, and emotionally compelling, a reminder that even in the most public, outside-the-box, and difficult families, love and development are attainable. Secrets revealed, frictions laid bare, feelings raw. Picture yourself being a member of a household in which one man's confession would resonate through all the relationships in the family. On the Brown family, Kody Brown's dramatic revelation about Christine wasn't merely a minor event, it was a moment that pushed the limits of loyalty, patience, and love. How does a family get on after one of the patriarch's most cringe-worthy and contentious moments is finally revealed? Today, we explore how this disclosure affected the family and what it reveals regarding resilience, understanding, and forgiveness. The nacho moment, as enthusiasts have dubbed it, was more than just a mere admission. It was a turning point for the Brown family. Kody's admission of his initial feeling of not being attracted to Christine revealed not just personal weaknesses, but also the complicated dynamics involved in a polygamist family. In any household, the discovery that one spouse was initially turned off by another might lead to tension, bruised feelings, or even enduring resentment. In the Brown home, stakes were higher. Several wives with their own feelings, pasts, and inadequacies had to ride this moment out together. How would Meri, the first wife, respond? How would Janelle, the second wife, deal with it? And what would Christine herself do to deal with the public glare and inner feelings evoked by Kody's revelation? For Meri, the reaction was protective and empathetic. She immediately showed concern for Christine, highlighting the loyalty that exists between co-wives even amidst tension. Meri's ability to step in and support another wife in a moment of vulnerability revealed her role as the emotional anchor of the family. Her actions demonstrated that while the family may face conflicts, a sense of unity and care remains central to their relationships. Janelle's response was more nuanced. A few viewers picked up on a quiet smile, but it wasn't amusement alone. There was relief she was not the one being lectured by Kody, and maybe even a coping strategy for dealing with the cringe in real time. This understated reaction is indicative of the complexity of polygamist family dynamics, where many layers of feeling, competition, and compassion cross over. Janelle's calm handling of these scenes reveals a level of emotional intelligence not commonly found on reality TV. Imagine being in a room where tension, loyalty, and vulnerability all meet at the same time. Every word, every look is heavy. For the Brown family, this wasn't merely an uncomfortable talk, this was a trial of emotional strength and togetherness. Christine's point provides another nuance to grasping the family's reaction. Though understandably offended, she tried to put herself in Kody's shoes and understand his perspective. Her response reflects emotional maturity and resilience, opting for reflection, not resentment. This attitude in time enabled her to hold on to her relationship with Kody, while simultaneously reinforcing her relationships with the other wives. Christine's approach is an example for viewers of all ages, showing that challenging moments can be handled with grace, empathy, and thoughtfulness. The tell-all and the ensuing conversations also showed how Kody's openness affected his personal development. By openly confessing his first instincts, Kody was compelled to realize the aftermath of what he said and the impact it had on the people around him. This act of being truthful, although painful, became a learning moment for him as well, as it underscored the value of communication, self-realization, and tact in relationships. This was not a confession, it was a catalyst. One moment of candor uncovered years of unnamed emotions, insecurities, and family dynamics. To see the Brown family work through this with resilience and sensitivity is to learn about love, patience, and understanding in ways every person can identify. The repercussions of this moment radiated out to more than the immediate discussion. Family relationships are intricately connected, particularly in polygamous families, and even the smallest moments can influence long-term relationships. Kody's confession led to introspection, conversations, and even minor changes in how each wife navigated their relationship with him and with one another. For audiences, this offers an intriguing look at the nuance of keeping peace in a household with several adults and many interpersonal relationships. The episode also highlighted the value of empathy and perspective taking. Every wife needed to learn not just about her own emotions, but also the other's emotions. That took patience, emotional intelligence, and recognition of the larger family picture. The Brown family in many respects modeled conflict resolution and emotional management that resonates deeply with viewers, especially those over the age of 50 who have lived through multifaceted family life themselves. Kody's confession, though painful, was ultimately a catalyst for change. It compelled hard conversations, encouraged introspection, and reminded the family that honesty, even in the form of an uncomfortable confession, is required to establish long-term trust. For Christine, it was a reminder of resilience and self-worth. For Meri and Janelle, it was a reminder of the strength of their protective natures and the value of loyalty. And for Kody himself, it was an area where sensitivity and emotional intelligence could be enhanced. At the conclusion of this episode, audiences have a clear picture of how one revelation can redefine the dynamics of an entire family. The nacho moment isn't simply about being embarrassing or awkward. Broadly, it's about the journey of working through human emotion, growing from error, and becoming stronger in relationship because of it. The Brown family experience indicates that even when a moment is a misstep or a test, it can ultimately bond people together, teach empathy, and deepen relationships. The effect of Kody Brown's admission extended well beyond the first few words. It resonated with each wife, shaped dynamics within the family, and gave audiences a glimpse into the strength, compassion, and nuance it takes to keep peace in a polygamist family. The Brown family, confronted with a moment of uncertainty and conflict, opted to meet it with sensitivity, compassion, and a desire to learn, a lesson that speaks to viewers from all walks of life and ages. After years of cover-ups, cringe-worthy confessions, and dramatic family drama, the dirt on Kody Brown finally came out. But this is more than just a controversy story. It's a story about healing, strength, and what we can learn from even the toughest times. What does Kody's worst moment teach us about honesty, relationships, and family dynamics? And how does the Brown family come out stronger than ever? Let's discover. The nacho moment, previously secret and now outed, was a turning point in grasping the Brown family. Kody Brown's confession, that he initially was repulsed by Christine, was awkward, humiliating, and painful to watch. But it also gave us a glimpse into the humanity of a man who has been under public examination for years. For the Brown family, it was a moment of self-discovery. It was a moment of change. One of the greatest takeaways from this scenario is how valuable honesty is, even when it's painful. Kody's admission could have been denied, left on the editing room floor, or minimized. It was, however, released, giving authenticity and making both the family and audience confront what was there. This awkward act of honesty was a catalyst for further communication among the family. Consider the bravery it must have taken to confess something so intimate and unvarnished. Kody's moment wasn't about desire, it was about honesty, owning up, and the learnings that come when you confront uncomfortable realities head-on. Christine's reaction to the confession is an example of emotional resilience. Rather than letting resentment simmer, she decided to work through her emotions in a thoughtful manner. She used her time to get to know what was going on, reflect on her own feelings, and uphold her marriages with Kody and the other wives. This is a test of admirable maturity, patience, and strength, something viewers aged 50 years and over can strongly identify with, because they know that perspective and empathy are essential in long-term relations. The other wives, Meri and Janelle, also played crucial roles in how the family navigated this revelation. Meri's immediate protection of Christine showed loyalty and empathy, while Janelle's subtle reactions reflected a nuanced understanding of the complex dynamics at play. Together, these responses highlighted the importance of emotional awareness and careful communication in maintaining harmony within a blended family. The tell-all and Christine's reflections also had a deeper outcome, that moments such as these, though awkward, can make us closer. By acknowledging awkward realities candidly, the Brown family was able to clear up underlying tensions, better understand each other, and become closer. It is a lesson that is applicable universally to everyone watching. Honesty, though hard, can create growth, healing, and connection. This wasn't about embarrassment or hurt pride. It was about learning, perspective, and growing from mistakes. The Browns took a moment that had the potential to divide and used it as a chance for greater understanding and more resilient relations. For Kody himself, this revelation provided insight into his own actions and the effect of his words. Although he had trouble at first seeing the emotional baggage of his admission, the act of revealing it to the public enabled him to look inward and learn. It reminded the public that personal development frequently springs from confronting difficult realities, admitting fault, and consciously attempting to change. The journey of the Brown family also teaches us about resilience. In the midst of this awkwardness and tension, the family did not break apart. Rather, they worked the challenges out together, illustrating that healthy relationships are founded not on imperfection, but on compassion, tolerance, and the ability to address and overcome adversity. This episode also reinforces the use of perspective. Christine's ability to keep her sense of self-worth separate from Kody's first reaction illustrates an important lesson. Our worth isn't determined by others' initial impression. By being more concerned with growth and relationship than blame, Christine and the Brown family collectively turned a potentially harmful experience into a chance for learning and emotional growth. Additionally, the airing of this moment by TLC is a reminder that empathy can be a product of transparency. The audience sees the emotional process, empathizes with the struggles of the family, and observes how honesty, no matter how uncomfortable, can bring about more resilient, stronger relations. To audiences, this is not entertainment. It's a lesson in emotional intelligence, communication, and human connection. By session 5's conclusion, Kody Brown's worst moment is a more than an uncomfortable moment. It's a testament to the strength of growth, perseverance, and acceptance among family members. The Brown family was presented with an uncomfortable reality, processed their feelings, and emerged stronger as a result. This is a lesson for audiences of all ages that all relationships, polygamist or traditional, take patience, empathy, and the ability to face tough realities. The ultimate lesson for viewers is uplifting. In unconventional, high-profile families, change can occur. Faux pas, awkward silences, and painful realities needn't define relations, but may be used as the stepping stones to deeper understanding, stronger ties, and enduring love. The Brown family journey is a testament to the strength of resilience, communication, and emotional fortitude, a tale that resonates far beyond the realm of reality television. Honesty, empathy, and emotional awareness are all important in working through any relation. Kody's secret, previously kept, is now a moment of teaching for the Brown family and all viewers. It proves that families can become stronger when confronted with truths that are difficult, relationships can become deeper, and lessons can be learned that endure a lifetime.